Hi everyone, thank you for coming here. This is a common misconception that in order to find a job in Australia, you need to have your CV in Australian format. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I got a job in Australia from India by using the same resume format that I was using while I was applying for jobs in India. While there is no country-specific resume format, I do believe that you need to keep your resume crisp and clear. You need to have all the relevant information listed, and there are some things that you should definitely avoid mentioning, especially for the purpose of applying jobs in Australia. In this video, I will tell you just that. Before starting out, a bit of background about myself. I have a total of 9 years of IT experience. During this tenure, I have switched between several jobs, including me landing a job in Australia. So I feel I might be the right person to guide you in the creation of your resume, which looks good and stands out. CV template, which basically means how your resume will look like. What sections would be included where? There are essentially 3 ways to do that. First, manually creating your resume, like I did, writing each and every section or piece of information that I needed in my resume. Second, there are several sites available from where you can download your resume template for free, and then you can replace their content with your own. Third, pay to get your resume made by professional resume writing services. I would not recommend going with this option because I do not believe in unnecessarily paying for something you can do yourself. And plus, you know your qualifications, work experience better to be able to pen it down on your resume. And also you will have to design and create your resume many times in your career. Somewhere down the line, you have to learn this art of creating a good document, so better start now. This is the resume format that got me a job in Australia from India. Needless to say that your name, contact details should be at the topmost section. You can also provide your LinkedIn profile link, and if you have a work authorization, you can mention here. For example, if you're a student studying here, you can mention that you are on a student visa. When I was in India, I did not have the right to work here, so I hadn't mentioned this field. This will give the recruiter a gist of your work experience so far. This is the section that draws the attention of a recruiter to your resume. That's why it's written at the top. Just provide key information about your work experience and what all you have knowledge in by either creating bullet points. You can tell what all you've been up to in all the years that you've been working. For example, I've created bullet points to tell that I have a total of 9 years of experience in so and so. I'm also proficient in doing so and so tasks. You can also mention any certifications that you've done or acquired. If you do not want to put bullet points, or if you're just starting out with your career and you do not have that much of content to put in your resume, you can write something like this that basically highlights your soft skills and also what all you have experience in, and also the things that you've learned yourself. The skills refer to the knowledge or the expertise that you have acquired from your previous job experiences or as part of your self-learning journey. This is one of the most important sections of your resume because majority of the recruiters simply do a manual search or use automated systems to search if the keywords in their job requisition match the skills that are written in your resume, which essentially means that in the skills section, you need to use the keywords that are there in the job description. And I would suggest using the exact keywords. For example, if you see a job opening for Microsoft Dynamics, in your resume, do not mention MS Dynamics. Write exactly how it's written in the job description itself. So on your resume, you put Microsoft Dynamics and not its short form MS Dynamics, wherein you give a detail of your work history, including any internships or voluntary activities that you've taken part in. This section should have the companies that you've worked for, the location, the duration for which you've worked for those companies, and your designation at that time. And finally, it should list down the roles and responsibilities or the tasks that you have done while you were working there. Few tips for this section. Place your work experience in a chronological order, with the most recent one being at the top. Always mention your roles and responsibilities in bullet points. It makes it very easy to read. All the roles and responsibilities that you've listed down should start with a verb. If you're currently in that organization, use a present tense. For example, I've mentioned that I receive, clean and prepare data using Python and SQL. If I had to mention the same task in one of my previous companies, I would have written received, cleaned and prepared data using Python and SQL. These are small things that do make a difference. List down your degrees from most recent to the oldest. This section should have the name of your degree, your educational institute from where you've completed it, the year of completion. If you're early in your career, you should definitely mention the percentage, grade or GPA that you obtained. If you've been in service for quite some time now, like I have been, your experience kind of overshadows your educational background and it does not really matter then. So I haven't mentioned my grades on my resume. This brings us to our last section. Mention any rewards or accolades that you've received. You can also mention any extracurricular activities that you are proud of. This section makes you stand out from the rest of the candidates, but do not go overboard with this section. Only include the ones that are relevant to the job you're applying for. For example, if you're applying in a company that manufactures footballs and you mention that you cook well, it does not really matter. But on the other hand, if you mention that you were the captain of your college football team, it does kind of tell that your passion and hobbies align with the company's products, services and values. So this might do good to your resume. Some tips and tricks to leave a good impression with your resume and to help it stand out. Your CV should not be more than 2 pages. Believe me, recruiters just spend a couple of seconds to skim through your resume. Do not bore them with unnecessary information. If you're starting out with your career, keep your resume pages to only 1. There should be no grammatical errors in your CV. It looks very unprofessional. Always send your CV in a PDF format to the recruiter until and unless you have been explicitly asked to send it in Word format. This is because the formatting in a Word file keeps changing, but in PDF format, it remains stagnant and the way you want it to be. If you come across a job opening that matches your profile, ensure that you are including the key things that are there in the job description in your resume as well. For example, I come across a job that is requiring Python experience, I will ensure to highlight Python everywhere possible on my resume to gain the traction of the recruiter. This will straight away tell the recruiter that your profile matches with their requirement, which increases your chances of getting an interview call. Please, for God's sake, do not include any personal information like your age, marital status, home address, gender. These do not add any value or merit to your resume. I would suggest avoid putting your photo in the resume. It's not a common practice here in Australia, as by doing this, you're giving the chance to the recruiter or the manager to judge you on the basis of your appearance, religion, skin color, etc. So let's not promote personal biases. Use bullet points wherever possible. They help highlight the key points and makes the document easy and friendly to read. That was it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave those down in the comment section below. I reply to each and every comment. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.